Perinatal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. Okay, so anything we start with definition. The definition of perinatal mortality. Let's first start with perinatal mortality. What is perinatal mortality? Then we'll come into rate. It is like a formula. Perinatal mortality or deaths. What is mortality? Death. Perinatal mortality or deaths, according to the WHO, include fetal deaths after 28 weeks gestation and neonatal deaths within 7 days of birth. It's all about mugging up the thing, right? Definition is all about you have to put it correctly. Now let's understand first of all. You have to understand certain things like what is the term perinatal. Mortality, you know what is mortality. WHO has set this definition and there is some periods which we need to know. The significance of 28 weeks gestation and within 7 days of birth. Okay, so let's come to the chalkboard. See, let's know about what is perinatal. Let's consider from the point of conception. If it is a point of conception, there is a point of delivery, birth, right? Conception, birth. Natal terms signifies birth. So, natal. Okay? Clear? So, anything after that period, what will be? Post. Postnatal. Clear? And what before this point, the period will be called antenatal, right? Clear? Okay. So any event, and what this peri signifies, peri surrounding the natal point, right? So peri will be something will be including here, something will be including here, right? So what the perinatal period includes, this is that point, right? You can call it intra, anything during the birth, during the natal period, intra. And a part of the antenatal period is coming, a part of the postnatal period is coming. So this is the perinatal period, okay? So any death during the perinatal period is the perinatal mortality or deaths. So how much we have to take the antenatal part? In terms of gestations, it is 28 weeks. Okay? 28 weeks gestational age we have taken from the antenatal part. And how far we will go to the postnatal period? Up till 7 days of birth. Okay? So, any fetal death, delivery occurring here, during this period, during the period of intranatal. Intranatal is what? During the process of birth, birthing process, during the active labor room. What's happening is the intranatal event. During this period and during this period, if any death happening, fetal death happening, this comes under perinatal mortality. Okay? So, why 28 weeks has been taken? So, it has been considered that 28 weeks, if the baby born as early as 20 weeks before its expected time, we can salvage the baby. We can salvage the baby with NICU support and all, but not all baby survives, right? Because they are very vulnerable patient. So, 28 weeks WHO has taken into account. This 28 weeks is called the period of viability. So, what's the period of viability? This is 28 weeks. The period of viability, in fact, decreases to 20 weeks even. WHO says it's 28 weeks, 20 weeks in developed countries where there are so many good facilities and all. Even the 20 weeks fetus born, they can be managed very well and has survived. That's a period of period of viability in developed countries, not WHO. Okay. So 28 weeks we will consider. Okay. So now the definition is clear. Perinatal mortality or deaths, according to WHO, includes fetal deaths after 28 weeks of gestations and neonatal deaths within 7 days of birth. So what is neonates? Neonates is newborn, simple. Nat. The natal word is included here. Neonat. Neonatal death within 7 days of birth. So this is perinatal mortality. So it may also happen that in a hospital, the lady has come, no LMP is properly known and all, she has just came and given birth. You don't have any documentations. Like in village, what happens? You don't have any documentations in terms of what's the proper gestational age of the baby and all. In that case, what will do? You're not aware of the baby is born dead and you're not aware that what's the gestational age of the baby. In that case, we consider the fetal weight and crown length of the baby, which is crown hill length, which is like 35 centimeter, and weight, it is 1000 grams. So this also, in that context, we can consider this. So the same thing I have already discussed. In developed countries, deaths of 20 weeks includes under perinatal mortality. So this is rate. It is the number of stillbirths. Stillbirth means dead born, plus neonatal deaths. Neonatal deaths before 7 days per 1000 live and stillborn. Okay? So you get a number. So you get a statistics out of it. The more the perinatal rate, the more is the alarming thing, no? The healthcare system needs to be improved. So our target should be like to reduce the perinatal mortality rates, to reduce the mortality rates. Next coming, the infant mortality. What is infant? So the baby is born here. This is a postnatal period and up till 1 year of age. So 1 year of age will include the neonatal period also. Neonat. Another terminology is neonat. Neonatal. Neonatal mortality. So we have learned about perinatal mortality. Second is neonatal mortality. Third is infant mortality. So, let's talk about infant mortality first. Number of it is a term used to describe the deaths of the baby that occur between the time it is born and 1 year of age. Okay, so this is infant mortality. If a baby dies before 28 days, the death can be also classified as neonatal mortality. So it is it. Or grossly, we can say that infant we call infancy is like 1 year. And initial 1 month is the neonat. So you can say a baby within 1 year of age, you can call the baby as infant. If the baby is less than 1 month, within 1 month, you can call the baby as neonat. You can use the term neonat. So neonatal period is up to 28 days of birth. So from this point to this point, 28 days of birth. is the neonatal period. Perinatal period will be including the initial 7 days also, right? Of the neonatal period. So this 7 days you can call it as early neonatal period. 8 to 28 days is the late neonatal period. Okay. So again, the medical statistician, basically this is nothing. This is obstetric, community obstetrics we are dealing today in this class. You know, community medicine. Community medicine is to deal with the community, and medicine subject itself to deal with the individual, diagnosing and treatment. And when community medicine people deals with the diagnosing and treatment of the community as such. So this is like community obstetrics terms. Why we need to know about the perinatal mortality, infant mortality, neonatal mortality, to calculate this rate, to see what's the healthcare system facilities and all. These data are important to see the healthcare conditions of the country, of nation. है ना? So this is the IMR rate, infant mortality rate. Number of deaths of infants under 1 year of age during a given period by total birth during the same period. So in the community medicine, you have to calculate. They will sum. They will give you sum on that. Okay, I will come to these slides later on. Let's know about what are the causes of mortality that we encounter. Number one is asphyxia, infection, prematurity, low birth weight, pulmonary complications, congenital malformations and chromosomal anomalies of the baby, birth injuries, neonatal jaundice, metabolic and other causes. Let's discuss one by one. Asphyxia. Asphyxia is oxygen insufficiency. Everybody knows that by now. Fine. How the baby can get asphyxia? It can be like either chronic asphyxia or acute events. Chronic conditions like the mother is diabetic, the mother is hypertensive, the mother is suffering from APLA, or mother is having any other comorbid conditions. In that cases, there will be like placental, chronically during the antenatal period, the baby will be going through chronic placental insufficiency. There will be low birth weight, leading to low birth weight, and the baby born in these conditions will be, a bit shaky. ठीक है ना? And may lead to this mortality. In acute conditions, what could be the acute events that can lead to asphyxia? In acute conditions is related directly to the intranatal period during the birthing process. Acute events, what can happen? Okay, like this is better. Acute. Okay, before, during the labor process and all, during the birth process and all, another point we can discuss. Acute event can happen in case of the placental abruption. Do you know what is it? Either yes or no? No. Okay. You know placenta? Baby. Okay. The placenta. The placenta is the placenta lies in the fundus of the uterus. Suddenly the placenta, abruption means abruption. Plus, there can be a condition there where the placenta can be torn from its side. You can imagine what can happen if placenta got torn from its side. This event is called placental abruption. Sudden cut between the blood supply of the fetus from the mother. And the baby is not yet born, and the baby, if you get the baby in your hand, then only the baby will baby is outside, if the baby is outside, then will baby initiate the circulating process, right? Circulation and all. The baby has not initiated circulations yet. The baby is totally passively depending on the maternal circulations through the placenta. At that condition, the placenta is torn. You can imagine what will happen to the baby. So, placental abruption. Number 2 points. In number 2, we will be highlighting on all the delivery events like obstructed labor. The baby is stuck into the birth canal for so long that the oxygenation is hampered. Difficult labor, obstructed labor. Malpresentation also. Difficult birthing process will lead to difficult birthing process. Instrumental delivery. So these are the scenario where the baby can be asphyxiated during birth. Birth asphyxia. This may lead to hypoxic ischemic injury of the brain and all, and leads to all this mortality and morbidity. Next come to infection. Infection. The fetus can either contract the infection directly inside the womb through transplacental route. That means that mother is already suffering from infection. The infection is directly passed to the unborn through transplacental route, and the baby born ultimately becomes sick and leads to the mortality and morbidity. This is one condition. Another condition is that in all those labor difficulties like obstructed labor, pre-obstructed labor, the baby is stuck for so long. Again, the obstructed labor is coming, difficult labor, too much manipulations during the birth and all. This might lead to infection. Premature rupture of membrane. Premature rupture of membranes. What happened in premature rupture of membranes? If it is like prolonged premature rupture of membranes, there is a connection between the external environment and inside, leading to access of the infections. Then, while handling the babies during the birth, like cutting the cord in very unsterile conditions and all. Say, for example, in home birth, trained baby delivered by untrained people and all. That happens, no? So, cord sepsis and all, umbilical cord sepsis can happen. Then baby born prematurely also leads to infection and sepsis. Premature baby born, that baby is not developed, immune system is not properly developed. Premature baby is very prone to sepsis and infections. Apart from respiratory distress syndromes and all, they are also very much, premature baby are also very much prone to sepsis and infection. So, this is infection. Prematurity. How the baby is born prematurely. It could be like spontaneous onset of labor that can happen. Spontaneous onset of labor prematurely that can happen during Premature rupture of membranes. Suddenly the water broke prematurely before the delivery dates, way beyond delivery dates. Any sorts of trigger inflammation in mother might trigger premature labor. Then multifetal gestation. Singleton pregnancy carries on to the term, but when the mother is with multifetal gestations, the uterus is not being able to hold that amount of doesn't have that amount of space to hold 2 or 3 babies together. So the baby is not grown yet. The growth of the baby has not, but the uterus has expanded a lot, and the uterus give away in the form of early, onset of labor. We encounter early onset of labor in multifetal gestations. Then there is another entity called cervical incompetence. You know what is cervical incompetence? Anybody? Cervical incompetence. This is the mouth of the uterus, which is called cervix, right? Cervical incompetency. Cervix is incompetent in holding the gestation. As simple as that. The term itself is telling you what is cervical incompetence. So the door simply opens and the product of concept is coming out. Cervical incompetence. It's one of the cause of habitual abortion after 20 mid-trimester habitual abortion. Sometimes what happened, the cervix can carry out till the period of viability and just give away the baby prematurely. In that case, the treatment is put a stitch in the cervix. Anyway, we will discuss in details later on a whole new chapter of cervical incompetence. This is Shirodkar stitch we put on McDonald's stitch we put. To seal the mouth of cervix so that the cervix doesn't just give away. What happened? So these are like spontaneous onset of labor and the baby is delivered out spontaneously. Premature baby delivered out spontaneously. And another situation where we have to induce labor prematurely. See, these are like spontaneous induction of labor. Spontaneously labor is induced and we have to get the baby out actively from our side prematurely. What are the conditions? Maternal comorbidities like hypertensive crisis, severe preeclampsia. You might not be aware of this terminology, but as you will progress with gynecology, obstetrics and gynecology, you'll be familiar with these words. Preeclampsia, eclampsia. This falls under hypertensive disorder of pregnancy. Severe preeclampsia. In eclampsia, the mother throws fit with the scenario of high blood pressures and all. So in that case, you have to terminate the pregnancy. If the lady throws eclamptic fits, then you have to terminate the pregnancy irrespective of gestational age of the baby. So baby born will be premature. And other conditions like uncontrolled diabetes. What happened in uncontrolled diabetes is that there is history of sudden fetal death. Everything is going on fine, fine, fine. Suddenly, there will be like fetal death. The lady will be coming to you with the history of, I have been perceiving fetal movements very well till the morning, but suddenly nothing, no movements at all. Sudden fetal death happens in uncontrolled diabetes. So in that case also, we have to terminate the pregnancy way before early. Then there is certain condition called APLS syndrome. In this condition also we have to terminate the pregnancy early. Then there is something called antepartum hemorrhage. What is antepartum hemorrhage? The mother is bleeding PV during the antenatal period. Bleeding during the pregnancy is not warranted, right? So any hemorrhage or hemorrhagic event that happens in antenatal period is called antepartum hemorrhage. Most common cause of antepartum hemorrhage is placenta previa. Where the placenta is, the common location of placenta is like upper fundus. In that case, the placenta is located, implanted in the lower part of the uterus. This is called placenta previa. In conditions like placenta previa, there will be history of antepartum hemorrhage. Antepartum hemorrhage, painless bleeding. There will be painless bleeding in that conditions, and you have to assess so many conditions in terms of patient's hemodynamic stability, fetal conditions. Depending on so many factors, you have to decide for termination of pregnancy. Or else we go for conservative management in placenta previa, antepartum hemorrhage in placenta previa. What is conservative management? Conservative is like wait and watch. The mother is bleeding. Everything is fine. We can give her a shot of conservative management. But the mother is bleeding too much and the fetal conditions is not good inside. In that case, we have to hasten the delivery. Take care. The next point is low birth weight. Low birth weight is a direct contribution of the premature delivery. Number 1 point. Take. Prematurity is the reason for low birth weight. Apart from that, the mother has delivered the baby in the expected date, but the baby's birth weight is low. It can happen in case of different comorbid conditions of the mother, where different comorbid conditions of the mother, where chronically insufficiency of the placenta has been occurring. Like again, the hypertensive mother, diabetic mother has the chance of giving birth to low birth weight babies, as well as malnutritious mother from chronic anemia. So low birth weight. So low birth weight babies have possibilities of contracting so many complications like respiratory distress, acute pulmonary hemorrhage and all, jaundice, neonatal jaundice, which can directly attribute to mortality and morbidity. Pulmonary complications. Pulmonary complications like respiratory distress syndrome, premature baby. Premature baby shows the signs of respiratory distress syndrome. Okay. Mostly we find in the premature baby. Where the surfactant, you know what is surfactant? Lung surfactant? Where the lung surfactant is not properly formed. In that case, the baby will be born with a respiratory distress syndrome and other complications resulting from this. Another entity is meconium aspiration syndrome. So this is a result of prematurity, and this is meconium aspiration syndrome, and this is a result of post-maturity. Post-mature baby passes stool inside the womb, and aspiration of this meconium may lead to chemical pneumonitis and all, again leading to respiratory distress and all, chemical pneumonitis. Premature baby are also prone to develop pulmonary hemorrhage, intraventricular hemorrhage. Okay. Congenital malformation and chromosomal anomalies. Certain congenital malformation and chromosomal anomalies are incompatible to life. So if these babies are born, so naturally you can imagine what can happen to those babies. Most common, like which we have seen and encountered, anencephaly. Anencephaly means you go and see anencephaly, huh? Renal agenesis syndrome. Pulmonary hypoplasia. Potter syndrome, and etc. and etc. Certain conditions are there. These are not, incompatible to life. So, baby born, you can imagine what can happen. And certain other conditions are there. Certain other conditions are there, which immediately after born, if surgically corrected in due time, the baby can be salvaged. But again, this sort of baby should be delivered in a facilities where pediatric surgery should be like at hand. So this also contributes to the neonatal or infant mortality, perinatal neonatal mortality and morbidities. Okay. Birth injuries. So birth injuries are due to during the intranatal period, like big size baby and congenitally malformed baby, hydrocephalus baby. So this sort of babies will be born also very difficultly per vagina, right? So birth injury can happen during the birth of such sort of babies. Instrumental deliveries also can cause birth injuries and all. Now, next coming to the point, neonatal jaundice. Mild jaundice is really okay, and this can be managed, and self-limiting also. But sometimes sometimes jaundice can be of jaundice which complicates our can leads to kernicterus, brain damage, and fetal death. Premature babies are prone to neonatal jaundice, severe neonatal jaundice. Again, prematurity coming into action. Prematurity, then RH incompatibility, ABO incompatibility, this sort of compatibility might lead to severe jaundice. Otherwise, a little mild neonatal jaundice are very common, like breast milk jaundice, because breast milk jaundice and all, physiological jaundice and all. These are like manageable. Then metabolic and other causes. Metabolic disorder in the baby is encountered when the mother is having comorbid conditions like diabetes, hypertensive. The most common hypoglycemia, hypokalemia, hypomagnesemia. Hypocalcemia. This will cause metabolic seizures and all in the infant. Born to mother who are having many comorbid conditions. Predisposing factor, epidemiological factor, maternal fetal factors. Maternal age. Maternal age plays an important role in the mortality. How? Extremes of maternal age. Young mother as young as 13 to 16 years of age, and other extreme age is like more than 35 years of age. The elderly mother will be having so many comorbidities in her, so the baby born might be showing complications and all. And the young mother is also not, physiologically and psychologically fit to take care of the baby. इन्फेंट मोर्टलिटी रेट्स में एक टर्मिनोलॉजी भी आता है सिड्स, सडन इन्फेंट डेथ सिंड्रोम, हाउ यू आर मैनेजिंग द बेबी इन योर हाउस. ठीक है ना, प्रॉपर गाइडेंस इज रिक्वायर्ड टू टेक केयर ऑफ द न्यू बॉर्न. सो दिस ऑल्सो आर द predisposing epidemiological. This falls under the predisposing epidemiological factors. Parity also plays an important role. Low socioeconomic class. How? It is seen that low socioeconomic ladies will be suffering from malnutrition, anemia. So baby born will be like low birth weight baby, small for gestational age babies with many complications and all. Okay. Another thing related to low socioeconomic class is that they are not being able to avail the healthcare system properly. There are lots of home deliveries, incidents of home deliveries in there, and lots of deliveries attended by unskilled birth attendants and all. So this is also a contributing factor. Poor nutritional status, already I told. Rural areas where there are the community health center and the primary health center are not that much equipped in handling complicated babies and complicated deliveries and all, vulnerable babies. And there are so many factors also after the baby is born. Poor referral system, poor transport system also contributes to this mortality and morbidity. Because when the baby is born vulnerable, the action should be immediately within 1 minute. I think newborn resuscitations has been discussed. some groups may not be in the small practical classes, how much the newborn resuscitation is important, and referrals are very important. Geographic locations, difficult terrains and all. So you are in a town, you are in a metro cities and all. Just think about the greater India is rural India only. So when we count the perinatal mortality rate, it's not the statistics taken from the cities and towns. It's the statistics taken from all over India. So the development of a nation depends on the healthcare system also. It directly reflects to the healthcare system. Geographic location and female literacy. Female literacy is also very much important. So educated mother and uneducated mother, how they will be handling the babies and all. Even the rural educated mother are more equipped in handling their newborns and all compared to the illiterate rural mother. Predisposing maternal conditions. I have already discussed that hypertensive disorder, diabetes, antepartum hemorrhage. You have something known about antepartum hemorrhage. See, these 1, 2, 3, 4 things, no, you will be discussing. We will be discussing with you. You'll be knowing that. You'll be reading that over and over again over the period of these 4 years. Hypertensive disorder, diabetes mellitus. There is whole new topic in chapter you have to read. Antepartum hemorrhage, maternal infection, multifetal gestations, pre-labor rupture of membranes, preterm labor, Apler syndrome and all. These are the maternal conditions that may lead to this mortality and morbidity. Uterine anomalies. So, you know the shape of the uterus. Okay, normally you know. So, anomalous uterus, the mother who carries anomalous uterus in terms of which may there is a septation. Unicornuate uterus, there is only one cornua. There is two cornua, right? Unicornuate uterus, bicornuate uterus. These are like different uterine anomalies. So such sort of uterine anomalous uterus are unable to hold pregnancy properly. Such a certain anomalous uterus can carry on pregnancy till the term and all, but certain are not. They give away the baby prematurely and all. Obstructed labor, uterine rupture. So there is another entity called uterine rupture. So antenatal uterine can give away totally. So you can imagine what can happen to both mother and fetus in that conditions. Instrumental deliveries. Deliveries as conducted in obstructed labor, cephalopelvic disproportion scenario and all. We do instrumental deliveries. But what are the instruments used in the instrumental deliveries, you know? Anybody? Forceps. Ventouse. Forceps are the old terms. Everybody knows that. Our mother and all. Forceps. And there are like high mid-cavity forceps, low forceps. Okay? Forceps deliveries are almost obsolete nowadays. Only low cavity forceps are applied. If there is a conditions like you have to apply for the mid and high cavity forceps, better ask the lady to go for the C-section. Because with the forceps delivery, there comes so many complications. The maternal injury, fetal injury to chhoro. There could be maternal perineal injury that you will be gifting her to throughout the life with all the fistula complications and all. So, low cavity forceps is only done nowadays in modern obstetrics. Other forceps are like you will be reading in the books only. Fetal conditions, again, congenital anomalies, chromosomal anomalies, malpresentation, fetal growth restrictions. These are the fetal contributing factor. Okay, let's see the slides which we have left behind initially. See, India witnessed a steady downward trend in maternal and child mortality towards the achievement of the SDG 2030 targets. See, IMR of the country has declined 39 per thousand live births in 2014 to 19 per thousand live births in 2021. This is good news, right? India is top performer countries with reduction of child mortality rates. As per report, India achieved 78% decline in under 5 mortality. So I have described till the 1 year of age. So there is another data they are taking under 5. So under 5, most mortality is seen in between the infant mortality rates are higher. Amongst the under 5 mortality, infant mortalities are higher. This infant mortality contributes a chunk in under 5. Okay. 78% decline in the under 5 mortality rate, surpassing the global reduction of 61%. 70% declines in NMR, neonatal mortality, death within the 28 days, compared to 54% globally, and 71% decline in IMR, infant mortality, compared to 58% globally over the past 33 years from data collected from 90 to 2023. That's a good achievement. So what we can do for overall, improvement of the decrease of the rates? Prenatal nutrition. Prenatal nutrition, mother should be advised. See, in the cities and towns, every pregnant lady will be actively coming to you. But what about the rural? It's a rural India we have to think about. Prenatal nutritional advice to the mother should be given. Extra calorie intake, carbohydrate, fats, proteins. You have to, explain the diets and all. And who does these things? The Asha people. Supplementation with folic acid, iron, calcium. Very important. Improving the antenatal care. Improving the antenatal care in CHC, PHC, CHC, PHC and all, where the high-risk pregnancies are being identified and taken care of and referred. The ASHA workers working door to door to give immunization to the mother, to give nutritional advices, to pick up high-risk deliveries or high-risk pregnancies and all in the form of hypertension and diabetes and all, the routine screening and all. Delivery by skilled birth attendants, very important. Delivery by skilled birth attendants during the labor. During the labor, they identify the malpresentation, breech presentations and all, obstructed labor, and they do take the responsibility for timed interventions and referral to the higher centers and all as soon as possible. Training of midwives and traditional birth attendants in newborn care. So training them is very important because there are certain terrains where there are no good hospitals and all, no facilities. At least training them